YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. We've got something that is sort of a classic, but it's all new to us because of what I'm standing on. Not the rock, but it's this pond. We're super thankful. It's Thanksgiving, it's 2024, and this pond is really close to being technically and legally done. But we're still making helipads.
Yes.
And we're still making a Long Island. Yeah, Jay.
You can come visit.
You can come visit, see Long Island. So anyway, right here, this is one of the little areas that we're having so much fun. And we're gonna launch this turbo timber. We put floats on. We'll show our unbox build radio setup of the floats. If you've never installed floats, tip of the day, throttle cuts off, give it some juice, make sure everything goes to life before you put it in the water. No, we didn't do that off camera, but I have done that before on other planes. The other thing is, if you haven't flown a plane, I almost always recommend put it in the grass, taxi it as a test. I have flown this plane. Full disclosure, I have a different strap than we show in our unbox. I went ahead and put a little bit more robust Velcro strap all the way around the 300 milliamp 3S pack, which is right here in my pocket. Remember, this one has JST connectors on it if you have the newer blue and black and white one. If you have the older red and white and black one, it uses a micro pH 2S connector, and we will go into elaborate details about how to deal with that. And there's a lot of adapters that you may or may not need, depending on how and where you're gonna fly this.
So to all the things.
Over by Long Island is frozen, so I can't introduce you to Long Island yet. So I'm just gonna launch right here because our docks are like freezing. And that's how cold it is.
Yeah.
So the first thing you want to remember about this plane as an ultra micro is that there is not thrust reverse on it. And so when you launch, you want to try to get it set so that you're not pointed at yourself, okay? Otherwise, you're going to have to sit here and wait for it to turn in the dead calm conditions. See, no water rudder technically unless you modify it. I suggest that you modify it and you put in a simple clear plastic water rudder that you can just CA with a couple of drops on. It'll be enough to hold it and it'll do its job. Plus you'll get a little bit extra rudder authority, won't hurt anything. And you can see that little tiny, teeny bit of drift. That is so dang beautiful. Look at the reflection. So cool. Throttle cut is off. I think I got enough room now to taxi. And as you can see, picking up the passengers at the rock. And we're just gonna get right into it. Remember, your rudder is effective, but you gotta get on it, okay? Get into the throttle, a little hard on the throttle, and there it is, guys. And we've got quite the roll tendency right now, and I think it might be coming from the ailerons, might be coming from the rudder. There we go. Okay, getting it better. Guys, just remember, when you fly these things the first time on floats, you have to retrim them almost always. Dang, that looks so good. By the way, 3S has lots of power, but I'm just gonna go ahead and fly it like it doesn't have it. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. And guys, we are so blessed to be flying in a full pond. Lots of rain in the last few weeks has really helped to fill us back up. And so we're thankful for that. And guys, we're so thankful for you on BrianPhillipsRC for helping to make all this crazy RC experience happen. I can tell you this, I love RC. I love these little adventures that we've been on for the last few years, 10 years to be exact, takeoff flaps now. And the camera crew loves it even more, getting up at 7 or 8 or 6 o'clock in the morning to film this gorgeous flight for you. She really loves it. It's probably the highlight of her life. And by the way, do you see the wake over there from when we took off? Look at this wake.
I was watching it.
Isn't that so crazy? It's way over there. It's so dead calm.
Ice
it's freezing it. Yeah, the surface tension, there's something about the moving water that's like causing it to freeze. So guys, this damned pond, the damn gift shop that's gonna be over here next. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm gonna just do a little circuit for you as we enjoy this beautiful turbo timber. It says 1 minute, I don't buy it for a second. There is a hay bale back there I just flew over. And there's one that's gonna be right under me on my mark about now. And that hay bale represents the front of 150. And then I'll fly over and show you guys. Okay, out of the landing flaps, I'm in the takeoff flaps now. Flying really good with flaps. Okay, so right over here.
Well, that's hard to see.
Yeah, see that, guys? Tons of range, it's just a regular flying airplane with floats, okay? I went out there and I about went over where our last 2 stakes are. That's how big that 200 feet is. Maybe we'll go up on top of the dam toward the end. This is our timer for 5. I don't buy it because here's the thing, I'm gonna turn safe on, see if it keeps us level. I'm just rolling. I'm still, okay, so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get out of safe. I think what's going on is my takeoff flaps have the nose up just a little bit. I just feel like I'm having to actively pilot this a little bit more than average. But it's giving me authority. It's just like really, it's flying almost tail heavy. This plane is a rock solid flyer. That's why I know, because I'm having to move the sticks so much to keep it going in a straight direction. I wonder if it's just the way the floats work with this. They're about like 17, 18 grams with all the framework and everything. Isn't that what we measured?
I think so. I think it was 17.
So it's a considerable amount of weight, but usually that makes them fly ultra stable. But I'm not experiencing that. Okay, let's see if we can take a landing. Okay, so takeoff flaps only. Trying to drag it out, and there it is, guys. So we're in the water. Everything is safe. Let's go ahead and look at this for a minute. I just want to go out to my main menu. Look at all that rudder. Look at all that aileron. Look at all that elevator. I don't know if this thing's just been sitting for long enough that we have some trimming issues, but I definitely got to say this. We've had several turbo timbers in the ultra micro scale, and we had the original timber, then we had the turbo timber, which was the red and white one, looks just like this, except it was only 2S capable. And then we have the turbo timber Evo, or whatever this blue one is. And that's the most recent release. And I can tell you this right now, let's put that in the background. This one is definitely, we flew it in snow the first time we flew, and I don't know if you guys saw, but you just want to be a little bit careful that your surfaces don't stick, okay? So what I try to do for that is I go to servo setup and I will run the critical surfaces down a few percentage points. It is kind of frustrating to give up those basis points there. But if you do, those long throw linear servos are on a corkscrew. So they just run a little tab along a screw mechanism. So they have tons of torque and they're really powerful. But what happens is if you get into an excessive correction because of AS3X and the sticks, you'll sometimes find some weirdities, okay? So that's one suggestion. The other thing is, and if you didn't see that from the unbox build radio setup, you'll know. See, we got tons of power left on, so our timers are relevant. Plus I was blabbing. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring this back over. Camera crew's gonna try to get us some more footage, maybe a little lower. Do you wanna go to the rock or anything, or? Oh, look behind, there's an attack vehicle. Oh no. Okay, so here we go. So we're gonna cut a turn sharp. So remember, burst of throttle plus full rudder will get you a little bit of help, and then break the surface tension, get into the throttle, and take it when it gives it to you. A little bit of reverse elevator there. I'm actually pushing down to drag it out, and then we'll just take a couple of quick passes. The porpoising is something you'll never have with this plane with anything other than floats. So it's just strange to me. The cat just ran away like in extreme fear. Good Lord, that thing is absolutely fantastic looking. Okay, so I'm gonna turn on safe now. That's safe, guys. But I just wanna show you guys the sticks. Look at this. I just feel like, look at this. I'm having to really ride the sticks because of the limited bank angles. Look at the angle it's wanting to go.
Yeah.
That is definitely not correct. So I wonder if the CG is just maybe a little bit too far back and so it's wanting to climb. And maybe that's why it's fighting me a little bit right now. The other thing too is I took out some of my correction with the flaps, hon.
You did.
Let's see if let's look at that. We'll take another beautiful landing here. Okay. We'll just drag this one out. There it is. Okay, the bouncy wounce is hard to avoid, just so you know, on ultra micros. Okay, so I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna go to flap system. I adjusted this to 10. It was at like 17. Good Lord.
That's probably a little much.
I was going the wrong way too. My scrolly wheel was giving me trouble there for a second. Let's try 25. And let's try 40 and see how that feels. Because I want this thing to be like a nose down attitude with flaps. So let's see how that feels, okay? So we're gonna go take off flaps. Okay. We're just gonna get into the throttle. We're gonna give it a little bit of a kiss of throttle. I wanna get kicked into the wind. Get onto step. There it is, beautiful. Okay, so still not, see it's still going up. I'm still having to hold down. I'm in takeoff flaps. I'm still having to hold the down pressure on the elevator. Goodness gracious, that thing is gorgeous. Yeah, okay, so now it's full flaps now. There we go. That's almost flat. There are barn doors on this thing, you know, full disclosure. Mm-hmm. But what I'm gonna tell you is this plane will do all sorts of craziness. Okay, so I'm gonna come out of the flaps. I'm gonna just show you real quick. Obviously you can do loops and rolls, all the stuff that you would expect from any other plane. And that was with, I mean, I've got tons of extra power, guys. You've got almost unlimited vertical even with float. So I'll show you that real quick. Okay, so here we go, going up. That's full throttle. And as you can see, it's giving me the chime. But you can see near unlimited vertical, I say. Now takeoff flaps need more, landing flaps. You can get this thing down in a hurry too, so you don't need a huge pond, okay? Don't be afraid to use your rudder to help point. And I like dragging out the landings better than that, but just look how much it's tipping back on the floats. I almost feel like maybe it's a little bit tail heavy, but let's go ahead and try this again. So let's go to flap system. I want that way higher. Let's go to 35, and then let's go to 40. Let's go to 50. I hate doing that much, but let's see, because there's not much throw left for flight. I want the flight envelope, guys. Okay, so here's takeoff flaps. Oh, and by the way, if you're used to being hooked to a lanyard and you unhook for a video, make sure you hook back up. You don't want to drop your transmitter, folks. Okay, so giving it some throttle. Get it in the air, drag it out, cut out of the throttle just a little bit so you can keep it kind of low. Oh, it's so gorgeous. Good backdrop. And then over the land. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get you guys a flat flight here for a minute. Okay, now full landing flaps. That's still a lot of nose up tendency, what the heck? Why do we get so much pitch up? I'm having to ride this stick like crazy. I can actually make a mechanical adjustment pretty easy, hun. Okay, full landing flaps here. Whoa, whoa. Okay, out of the flaps altogether. I'm gonna do a no flap landing because it's just acting wonky as heck. Let's see if I can bring it right to us. So I'm gonna drag this one out toward us. There it is. Hard to drag them out on the ultra micros, admittedly, guys. Should I go to the same rock? That was a pretty awesome place to launch from.
That did work pretty good.
Okay, here we go. Man, that is so dang gorgeous. Throttle cut! I swear I didn't give it that last little chunk of burst. Or I didn't think I did. Okay, so let's look at this. Two things we can adjust that might improve our circumstances a little bit. Let's put it on the rock. That is dang gorgeous, okay? We have tons of juice left, and that's one of the reasons why we love using these bigger batteries, okay? But that might be kind of shooting us in the foot right now. I'm gonna pop this open. I'm gonna just grab this, and see, I just wrapped this Velcro all the way around the pack, folks. I'm gonna just pull that more forward. I'm gonna keep that away from the motor itself. Now remember, that is going to be counterproductive for my elevator performance, but it's gonna be productive for my balance, okay, for my center of gravity. That's gonna help balance out the plane. But the trouble is, I want my elevator to be more effective. And so as a result, like you can't get inside there and mess with the elevator very easy, see?
Right.
Oh, one wire does make me kind of nervous. It's far enough away, I don't think that's causing a problem. And I'm just looking inside, make sure I don't have anything weird going on. You can get splashes up inside of here too, so just keep an eye out for splashes. If you ever do get a splash on an ultra micro like this and you're concerned about it, just let it air dry. Maybe get the thing, spin up the water out of the motor and all that stuff that you would normally try to do. But just do it as soon as you can if if the motor screws up on you, you may have to get there and with air and blow it out, or just blow it out like this, or whatever it takes. We've had a lot of planes that ended up in water, and the worst of them was probably our FMS Cessna 182. And I got a lot of water inside of that ESC, and I ended up having to take it apart and clean it up, and it worked again. It was fine. See this? My wires are screwing with me now.
Not popping down on your canopy.
Huh?
So your canopy's not seating, is it?
It's not going down where I need it. So I'm just trying to work my wires so that they'll stay out of the way, because otherwise this low canopy point, I don't think we're hitting the battery, are we? Maybe
I don't think so.
Maybe we're hitting the battery. I think we're hitting the battery. So I'm gonna just sacrifice my rib here a little bit. I'm gonna press with my thumb from the inside, supporting it well with my fingers. See if I can buy a little more real estate. Yep, that did it.
Okay.
Now my magnet's seated, okay? Now on the back here, see these are ball links, so you can actually adjust these a little bit if you want. And you see we're on the middle hole, so you can actually take that apart. I stupidly took a screw and ran it through when you can just peel this out, okay? So if I need more down elevator correction than I'm getting, then there's two ways to do it. You can either pop this off, and it may not pop off with my finger, but what happens is when you do pop it off, then you can actually turn this in. You can actually turn that thing in, that turnbuckle thing. I don't know if that's a turnbuckle. Is it a turnbuckle?
It's like a...
I think it is. But either way, what I would want to do is I would want to bring the elevator down to actually force the plane down. Because look, we've got all this pent up trim right there. You see that? I want to bring that trim back to neutral because we need it for our elevator correction, okay? For flap correction. So we're gonna pause. I'll see if I can get that thing popped off. Okay, so this is the money shot if I can get it. I'm pressing with my thumb. I've got the plane supported. Pressing with my thumb, I'm gonna use my index finger to pull this back. See if I can get that out. If I can get that out, I'm gonna show you, because you know, you guys are gonna have the same problem I am, which is you're out at the flight field. You don't wanna go inside because you're too lazy to walk to your house 5 feet away. Yep, there it goes. Okay, that damage came from me putting a screw in, by the way, not this. Okay, so now I want that elevator to go down. So what I have to do is I have to brace this by holding it carefully and supporting the plane. See what I'm doing? I'm holding the plane and I'm holding the rod. You never want to just let your rod just like swing wildly. Dangerous things could happen, especially with a prop in close proximity. Good Lord, okay. All right, so we're gonna run this out, right? Wait, out would go up. I want to go in.
Okay.
Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a lot. There's 6, okay? So sometimes I count out loud and you guys don't understand what I'm doing. I'm gonna press my thumb against that screw, then I press my forefinger, yep, index finger on there. See, I didn't need to cut it. I listened to my comments, people, just so you know, because people put it in the comments all over the place. I may need to retrim, so I'm gonna get this thing in the water.
Okay.
Remember, we did 2 changes at once. That's a dangerous maneuver if you're brand new to the hobby. Do 1 change at a time so you don't make a mistake that you can't unmake, okay? We'll launch here. Man, who put these rocks right in the way? I'll have to talk to that guy.
Luckily that was you, not me.
So guys, it's Thanksgiving. We're really thankful for you. Here on BrianPhillipsRC, we try to bring you guys the real RC experience with not a lot of extra fluff. We're not trying to just sell stuff. We're trying to help you guys really expand your RC prowess and also get the most out of your RC dollars. And one of the ways you can help support BrianPhillipsRC is we do this RC extravaganza, this aerodrome. This can be a full-scale hangar basically right there. There is a full-scale strip already. It's just made of grass and not quite as smooth as you might want it to be.
But it works.
But we're doing this in real life, in time and space. This pond didn't exist last year. It exists now, and you guys were a part of it. Every one of you was a small part of this success story. And we hope to have another big success story for you starting next year, if all goes to plan. But there's always a big if. So, success story 1, move to country. Success story 2, buy even more land. Success story number 3, buy even more land. Success story number 4, build pond. Success story number 5, build hangar. Success story number 6, complete the damn runway. Complete the crosswind strip, extend. Success story number 6, aprons, helipad, real planes. You're helping make all this happen in real time and space. Yes, of course, I have a day job. We've saved for many years. We're older than we look. And this is what it looks like. Living your dreams is right around the corner, guys. Every day you get up, you're getting a new chance to find some level of success. You're able to do what you want, what you love. And if you can't do what you want and what you love, make some adjustments, get it done. Nobody's holding you back but you, okay? And your jerk boss and your wife and the government and all those things. But I mean, if you could get past those things, especially your wife, then you'll be in good shape. All right, we're gonna keep flying before I get whacked. Okay, guys. All right, elevator trim, as you can see, is like all the way up right now. I'm gonna go ahead and bring that back down once I start flying, but I wanna get in the air. Okay, so a little bit of taxi. Taxi won't be an issue, obviously, because we're on the ground, but it might be a little bit wonk on the takeoff. So here we go. Get it in the air. Okay. So we're getting some chiming at full throttle. Boy, that feels a lot better. And yet, look at that. It's pretty flat now. I'm not having to ride the elevator. So that's really good, but my trim is still all the way up.
Adjust your trim.
Oh my goodness. All right, so takeoff flaps now. Ooh, level she is. I may just have to live with my trim. Guys, she's going downhill ever so slightly. It's exactly what I want. I'm having to ride the elevator just a hair to hold level. Now, full landing flaps. Oh yeah! So good. Right between us, you good?
Yeah.
Man, that thing is gorgeous. Folks, if you've never experienced the Turbo Timber Evo, the 1.5 is an amazing experience. The 1.7 is even more amazinger. And the SWS, 2 meters of sheer delight. There are so many different ways. And by the way, the new floats, man, you see that turbulation? What the heck is that? Is that wind?
No.
Yes. Watch this, inside pass here under the El Branchos. Here it is, guys. Beautiful. But what I'm gonna tell you is this, if you've never experienced any of those and you don't have the budget, space, wherewithal, you can get this thing and have a little micro-sized taste of that flavor and you will love it. Because I gotta say, full landing flaps now. I'm gonna slow it down. Look at this thing. Look at how wide the flight envelope is. And unlimited vertical. I'm just gonna tell you, this plane is gonna do the things you want to do and you're gonna love it. So get it, order some floats, get a few batteries, get a couple of adapters so you can make sure you can charge everything appropriately. Remember, with the JST ends, if you're using an S2200 or an S155, or you're using an S1400 or whatever they are, all these smart chargers come with EC3s and you need a JST plug. So all you have to do is get yourself an EC3 or an IC3 rather. They come with an IC3 rather, which is the same plug style. It just doesn't have the data jack. So the orange one is an IC3 and the blue one is an EC3. The EC3 stands for E-flite connector, in case you guys didn't know that. And so it's one of my least favorite connectors because they're really difficult to build. The IC3s are better and you'll love your experience compared to an EC. But an EC are a lot cheaper. So like if you're buying them in bulk, like from our Hobby King Master Link, then you can buy a, 20 at a time or 10 at a time and build them. That's what I've done over the years. I just have tons of connectors and I build these things all the time, folks. So you can build your own adapter or we'll link to the Horizon choices and they're, a couple dollars premium. What are they like? Between $6 and $14.
They're pretty inexpensive.
They're pretty inexpensive. And by the way, if you're charging a micro pH connector, sorry to cut you off, hon.
Okay.
Then you'll want to just buy the Horizon one. It's a pain to build that one. I've done it before.
And that's what I was saying. They're built for you. You don't have to worry about making sure it's right. It's just done.
It's just there. Yep. And they're always high quality.
Yeah.
So that's part of the key. Okay. See if we can take a landing. Guys, this small scale is great for our pond. Absolutely amazing. There it is. Oh, I don't like the hop, skip, and jump though. I can't end on that. We're at 19 minutes, 49 seconds on this flight. But full disclosure, that's not really all this flight, okay?
No.
That's a lot of talking. That's probably about half again or more.
Yeah,
so
probably.
Let's see if we can walk out on the dock for just a couple of passes. Or actually, do you want to nature walk it down? We can nature walk it down. Let's show them Long Island real quick. We'll give them a first look. Obviously, we got this construction project going here.
Yep.
This is not part of one of those success stories. Well, I guess it kind of is, the pond.
I thought you were making a bigger helipad.
I am, but this one here, I'm just starting with it to see how it works. And those are 18 by 18 pavers. And if you get pavers, it makes it a lot easier to put down your helis. So I'm gonna probably get 36 by 36. And we've already explained this, but we put these rocks out here so we can walk out in the water and watch the fish. When it's cold, of course, they're down deep. But when it's warm, they're up. I cannot believe I can still see the wake.
I know, it's weird.
That is so dang cool.
And these rocks all came out of the ground when a pond was
these
dug.
were all from our actual pond. And like this one here, I just pulled this one up so I can reposition it a little higher because these ones are getting submerged. And this is what we call our normal pool level right now. You can see it's just going into the first overflow.
Finally.
Yep, and that's the way we like these docks will get covered with water when we have like a flood event. Meaning they probably, like, if we were always going to be high like this, then this would seem a little ludicrously low, but we want it to be easy to launch boats, cars, and airplanes, because that's what we do. So coming along here, this is gonna be Long Island here. So we're just working through, and you can see it's really cool because there's ice on here right now, but you can see really good. Just a little bit of ice. But this was a swampy area. And so my objective is eventually I'm gonna cut a very narrow channel there. And my narrow channel may consist of a board, and the board can be stuck down in there, and I can pull a slide up and down. I might 3D print and insert, and that'll allow the water exchange to be limited to fish size. And then this will be a little reservoir that small fish can go to for refuge from the big fish. And then the big fish can't come up here, so it'd be like a minnow trap. And then over here, this area has been kind of swampy and wet because it's not got very high elevation. And what happens is every time this floods, meaning we make it up to our overflows here, which is a 5-inch difference between our main pool level and the overflows, this stuff gets like real swampy and it's real hard to mow. So my plan, and I'm hoping it works, is I can bring this up just a few inches so that when I need to mow, I can come in here and mow, and then that water will be able to drain quicker too. But it is gonna hold water because it's close to the edge now. My inlet solution, I can trap the fish in here too then. So I'm not sure exactly how I'm gonna implement that, but as you can see, it's kind of muddy here because I've been working. And basically I'm just extending and kind of making these paths so it's super cool and fun. And then of course, we've got these grasses that just love this area. And so the other thing I was thinking is that these water grasses, like we didn't plant any of this crap, it just happens naturally. I'm gonna probably do that by the inlet so that whenever there's an exchange of water, it's really cool. When it's like really windy, this stuff, you can see the water level moving. But over here, it's still. And I'm gonna have really deep spots like that. I wanna make it super deep so that even if this dries out, there'll still be water. So
in spots.
These are the types of things that grown men do with their time, if they're allowed to act like young men. And that's what I was just gonna say. I love doing this stuff. It is like all the stuff I wish I could have done as a kid, which is funny because we had a pond at my parents' house, but I was a teenager. I was busy, I was working, I didn't have time for it, and I didn't play in it much. But I'll tell you what, man, I love playing in this pond. It's so much fun. And we didn't think we'd swim in it, but we swam in it a bunch of times.
A ton last
which,
summer.
come on over, because we're doing nature walk here with Brian Phillips. Hey, tree, look, tree. Here's another tree right here, tree. And by the way, all this stuff, this is all getting under control. When you see me out here with like wounds on my hands and wounds and stuff like that, that happens when we're clearing out all of the vegetation and just kind of getting it de-weeded. And we have thorn bushes all over the place, and we have these crazy, I want to show you an example of one.
There's one over here.
There's one
super tiny.
It's just poking up.
This is like a baby one.
Yeah. And you see how there's like 10 trillion?
Fun.
These ones look so not bad.
Yeah.
These things will grow. They were growing.
Oh, they'll grow.
They'll take a tree down.
Yeah.
They will literally go up a tree and they will pull a tree down. Like I was pulling it all the way out of that tree.
Tree up here, yeah.
30 feet down. And they pop up and they're really hard to get rid of. I think my dad says they're multiflora rose. If you guys know what they are, let us know.
And Brian is allergic to everything outside.
Yeah, evidently. But they come up in clumps and they will quite literally take trees. I was just gonna see if I can find one. But yeah, when we do our nature walks, make no mistake, we love it here. It is amazing. It is a wonderful experience. If you can afford to get a piece of property and you're waiting, you need to quit waiting because it's never gonna be cheap.
No.
Okay, if you think it's gonna be cheap, you gotta get back in your time machine, go back to like the 80s when there was a farm crisis, and then you can get cheap land. But right now, no, you can't. So if you wanna wait till you're dead, then you can get cheap land because you won't want it, because you'll be dead. We looked for 7 years, and if we would have just pulled the trigger earlier, we would have saved hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's not an exaggeration, by the way.
But we would have never bought this much land.
No, because we weren't aiming for this. We thought, oh, 10 acres is an insane amount of land.
We need 2 or 3.
We need 2 or 3. Yeah. Put a septic system on it, put a driveway on it, put a house on it. You don't have no 3 acres anymore.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you right now, when you start looking for land, look for more than you think you want. And remember, when you look for land, you better budget like $30,000 to $50,000. And that was 5 years ago money. To get tractor, clear the snow, take care of minimal crop stuff if you're doing, and when I say minimal, I mean in good faith for a profit incentive. We are farming this land, and so all that stuff is hay over there. So we do that for a lot of different reasons, but eventually if you want animals and stuff, you aren't doing that on 2 or 3 acres, not easily, and you're not gonna have much land for them to graze. So the more you can get, and here's where the cost is. Find where the growth is, go right in front of it, and money from this pocket to that pocket. The painful, extreme mortgage payments will hurt your soul every time you make them, and you'll realize that it's not money wasted. That's all I can tell you. It's not fun to have debt. We have a lot of it. We used to not have much. But it's like, I've learned in my older and wiser years that it's a tool that you can use to extend your useful life as a human. Because at the end of the day, if all hell breaks loose and this goes back to the bank, well, that's their problem. You can't take the money with you when you die, I promise you that. And we have every intention of paying for every penny of this, unless they get plowed by a train tomorrow. In which case, then the camera crew will probably have to film without me. So the videos are gonna be much shorter.
They will, yeah, for sure.
So again, we're thankful for you guys. We want you to understand that when we show this stuff, we show it because we're trying to be an encouragement to you in your own life. It's not just about watching ours, vicariously living through BrianPhillipsRC or other influencers that you watch. I mean, there's a lot of influencers doing a lot of cool things, and you'll probably never keep up with a lot of them, just like me. You know, I watch these Cletus McFarland, of course that's not his real name. I watch him flying MD 500s and I get super jealous. And you know, I watch these guys flying these jets and stuff, and I think I'll never have enough money to fly a helicopter, because if it's gonna cost, you know, $3,500 or $4,000 an hour to fly a helicopter, like where do you get the money for that? You gotta just be raking it in like an insane person. But then people look at us and they think you gotta be raking it in like an insane person. And then people look at, you know, where we were 10 years ago and they think you gotta be raking it in like, it's just, it's always about your perspective in life, where you are, where you're aiming for. And you came for a UMX video, but you're getting facts of life from BrianPhillipsRC. I am still young compared to many of you watching, and so I never mean to disrespect our elders, but I'm also a lot older than some of you young people watching. And so I just want to give you a moment of encouragement. This hobby is bigger than just a foam plane. It's bigger than the skills it takes to fly these things. It's about developing yourself and getting to a new stage that you want to get to. And for me, it's been huge because this huge environment that I want to create for my family, for myself, and all these different dreams that I want to live, there's nobody waiting in line to do it for you. Okay, you can have a loving family that wants to help you succeed, but believe me, pick somebody that's going to work with you and not against you. That's huge. That's number one tip. Number two, be a cheapskate. Save your money when you're young. Work your butt off. Get as many hours as you can. That's what I've done for years. That's a trade-off, by the way. Don't end up divorced over it. You know, pick right, stay married, work hard. Try to get lucky. If you get lucky, you can cut a few of those out, but I'm gonna tell you this, you're not gonna be as happy. Because remember, If somebody gives it to you on a silver platter, it's not the same as working for it. It just isn't. It feels fleeting. It's fun for a minute and then it's up in smoke, okay? So this is not up in smoke, believe me, we're still paying for it. All of it, this included. So if you guys want and you see something about our experience here, building this aerodrome, moving to the country, building this house, which by the way, when we built this house, show them the house. We built this house, when we put the solar on, we put the battery backups in, we pretty much have videos of everything except for like the battery backup stuff.
Pretty
right?
much. Mm-hmm.
Because we have solar stuff. Do we have solar stuff?
We have a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
Of solar.
And if you guys think solar is like the devil or whatever, that's fine. I understand some people are ignorant like that. I was one of them, okay? It's great, it's awesome. If you can afford and place your house in a way to take advantage of solar and you don't, you're an idiot, okay? Just use a calculator.
And we're gonna be here for a while.
We're gonna be here for a while. If you're not gonna be there for a while, you're not an idiot, I take it back. But if you're gonna be there for a while like we are, you're crazy not to. Why do you wanna pay somebody else for electricity? That's just dumb. We produce electricity, we sell back. We end up giving a few $100 back. The payback is long. And if you don't want a long payback, then pay back quicker. But the idea is, you basically, it's a small premium and you have free electricity then into perpetuity. And the half-life, these things, I thought they lost system performance to the tune of about 1/10% a year. No, it's like way less than that. Use like 1% in the useful life, like 20 years. So if you lose 1%, then that means you're at 99% capacity at the end. Okay, so let's watch some more flight. Lots of different life things here today on BrianPhillipsRC. I know some of you guys are gonna be like, what the heck are you talking about? That's right, that's what we do. That's how we do it.
It was my fault. I told you to make it short.
Nature walk. She's screaming at me, hon.
I hear that.
I almost feel like I'm trying to make a crash reel right now with all that beeping. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna land, we'll take it from this one if that's cool. I wanna try to get a dragged out one if I can get it. There it is, guys. She wants to come in from the ladder. Okay, throttle cuts on, flaps are out. And I stopped just short of it. You know what I told you I wanted to do the other day?
What?
I wanted to taxi up and down the creek.
Oh.
Do you think we can get it? Let's try. The cat? Whoa, the cat came on the dock. She never comes on the dock.
Callie does.
Hi,
the rest
Callie.
of them don't.
Did we have a cat fight in this video? The unbox part?
No, that was
another one.
Atlantic's video.
Oh, it was Atlantic's video, yeah, that we just filmed the other day.
You can go up.
All right, we're gonna try it, guys, because here's the thing. It's just, there's never a better time than now. We wanna give you guys something fun to watch on Thanksgiving, so we're gonna give you all sorts of stupid life advice. And, well, actually, I don't think it's stupid. It's actually really good life advice. Not that you need it from me. A lot of you guys are way more successful than we are. But I just wanna see if this thing,
Where'd the cat go?
if you can taxi it up a creek, because up a creek is where I feel like I put myself sometimes. But at the same time, folks, I love doing this. And we are so thankful that you're here with us, supporting us, and your kind remarks and your kind words are always so much appreciated. Oh, we gotta get that hose out of there, hon. By the way, if you don't know what the hose is for, it's to water the trees that we moved over there. Every tree on that hill was moved.
Mm-hmm. Would have been lost to the pond.
Well, not all
of them now.
Okay, so this is the creek. Oh. Oh no, oh no, not enough control. The wind shifted. Look at that. Look at the wind, you can see it. So now we wait, I guess.
Well, if it'll turn around just a little bit, you can probably go forward.
Callie was trying to land on the helipad. So nature walk time, BrianPhillipsRC style, come on. I've been working on this creek like crazy. And as you can see down to the bottom. And basically, man, there's a lot of algae in this water right now. That's crazy. I guess now that I think of it, I remember seeing that last year.
Well, there's a lot of vegetation.
Yeah, in the
there
water.
that got flooded when it actually filled up this year.
But this is a bridge we built here on BrianPhillipsRC. You can see that. Is that in our home video?
It is. There's a whole playlist for the bridge.
Yeah, that's right. We built that bridge, Megan and I. It was super awesome. We definitely did not do it in the middle of the night with a smaller than we should have been using tractor and nearly died like 10 times. But we use that, we drive our tractor across because we used to not own that other lot. And so about where the grass gets tall is where our lot stopped. And so we needed a way to the other side so we could get to the back of our property.
This whole front is a little peninsula or
Yep.
island.
And we actually built this out of logs, the first of which I brought over with my 0-turn. That was when I realized I need a tractor.
Not at all dangerous.
Yeah, my 0-turn. I broke a $140 part and I went to John Deere to get my parts, this place called Van Wall. And the guy said, well, I think you know you need a tractor now. And he was right. And he's a drummer and he's on YouTube. And what was his name?
Oh, it'll come to me.
I
Are
will
we
come
going
to
over
me.
there to get the plane?
Yeah, we're gonna go over there, but I just wanna show them the nature walk first. So nature walk on BrianPhillipsRC, we do this all the time when we're filming helicopters. Oh, that's just a small pile by the way. You see that pile? That pile was from 2 like quick hour-long afternoon cleanings. Yeah. We go through piles like that about 30 or 40 times a year. And there's more of that stuff coming up.
Yep.
But this water level is beautiful, we love it. Did we plant that thing?
No, this is a honeysuckle.
The one in the back is a honeysuckle.
Oh yeah, this is an elderberry bush.
Oh, we need to cut the honeysuckle then. So look, fish, look, zoom, fish.
Oh, I see 'em.
See them? Zoom. Hopefully you guys can see them. Go into the shade so they can see. Film the shade.
No, they can see.
You can see?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right there.
awesome. This is why I love being up here, guys. It's so dang pretty.
Yeah,
there's just like
lots of 'em.
thousands of them.
Holy
See?
cow.
Yeah, I told you. I see them like all the time when I come out here to check on things. There's just like thousands of them going down there. I see them going down and they hide in the leaves, I think.
Yeah, they do.
They love it up here. And so when you come up here, hon,
I'm watching. There's like tons of them, hon.
I told you, thousands. Thousands and thousands and thousands of minnows. But
Yep.
yeah, this is basically what goes on. And then here's the thing, I want to show you this. So over here, so this area that you see right here was so thick when we got this property, we didn't even know there was a waterway here.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that's because it's an ephemeral stream. So that water comes from under the road and it feeds our pond with like 47 acres or something like that.
42 or
42, and then we have
42.
7 here. Mm-hmm. So watershed acres are the water that's expected to drain into a, you know, like a collection point,
Yep.
okay?
So yeah, we're like just under 50 total.
And that is so dang weird. I'm always seeing like oiliness. What are you doing, cat? Get off of there. You see this oil?
Yeah.
I think we have a seep, a natural seep that comes from over there in the crook of those trees, and you can see where this oiliness is. Now, I don't know if that's oil that's coming from the road or it's coming from the pile of logs that's been cut by chainsaw, but I see this oil some days and I don't other days. Mm-hmm. I think it's coming from the seep. We have another one on the backside of the pond that's actually, it's not a leak, but it's a seep because it's got red iron. Mm-hmm. And it's so weird. But this is, Callie is just demonstrating everything for you. Yeah. She wants to be on camera. But this oil, I don't know if it's normal for that to happen. I believe we were reading about it being normal. And this grass cleans the water before it goes down to the pond.
Yeah,
which
because
is
it never
so cool.
makes it like past this little
No, it never
area.
really does. Yep. And what's crazy is that this area, as vacant and devoid of leaves, oh, look, there's some of that stuff over there.
Oh, there's tons of that stuff
You
over
see it?
there.
Can you zoom into the green?
See it?
You can see it chasing up.
Up.
It's incredibly
stuff.
hard to clean it. That's on our list of things to do. The list is never ending when you live in the country.
Yeah.
Okay? And I see stuff like that and it's just like, I gotta go do it right now. You're never gonna get it done.
But we're filming an airplane video right now.
And you see the cat followed across on a bridge. Should I show them the other side quick so we're doing nature walk?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be a short video, folks.
Yeah.
So I put this stick here so I can walk across. And then I put these sticks here so I don't fall across. So this is what we call a landfill here. And so it's all natural ingredients. And what's gonna happen is over time, we just build this up.
She just like went up the roots of that little crook of stuff to get
Callie,
there.
go get something useful. Here, give me the camera. I'll film them over here. There is a lot of algae growth down here today.
Don't drop that because I have gloves on.
I know, okay.
Okay.
So guys, welcome to the bridge. You see, that's a stake, and this is a bridge, and this is just trapping it. And it goes across here to our landfill. But as you can see, that's the water. Thank you, neighbor. And then that is 5 or 6 feet deep. It's a little hard to tell right now. But then over here, all these are just like trees that have either died, got knocked down, necessarily taken out. And then of course, all the little fish could go up and down. And there's Callie being crazy. So this is the sort of thing. Now this oil seep, I don't know if you guys know anything about nature. Let us know if you think it's actually oil. If it is, I'll get a diaper and drop it in there. Not a diaper from a baby. It's called a diaper, Megan. She's over there laughing like, oh,
we don't have diapers anymore. We don't have
no, it's a diaper for hydraulic oil or something.
I know.
So, but yeah, this area is on the agenda. And when we bought this property, there was about 15 batteries in here, like big batteries.
Car batteries.
And so I'll just take you with me. Oh my goodness. Oh,
drop my camera.
No, I can't drop it. And then yes, this tree has been cut down like 15 times.
Yes.
We didn't start that. We didn't start that fire.
No.
This was done by the electric company when we put in our overhead power lines. They came in and cut this one down, as well as a bunch of huge mature trees that would have been so nice not to lose, like bigger than that. That tree is huge. Look at Megan. Look at that tree. Hon, I'm using you for size comparisons again. Words to live by.
Here.
Sorry, I said die by.
You better, yeah.
So guys, we're gonna wrap this up. BrianPhillipsRC is known for extremely long-winded videos with disjointed topic.
And you're always long-winded. It's not just the videos.
Well, yeah, that is true.
I mean, maybe not always long-winded.
Mostly, most of the time. So we know that you guys are curious about these things. And by the way, when we show you this, it's really cool that you're seeing this, but you have to remember, this is 5 acres of 24. There's more of it. And we actually have a named creek back over the top of the hill and then down 65 feet.
Yeah.
So that's our name creek, and that's our back lot line on this lot. That lot hits a rail easement because there's a bike path back there.
Mm-hmm. Are we going to find the plane?
Yeah, let's go find the plane. Where did it go?
I don't know. It's got to be
timber
right corner.
If you call for a timber, are people gonna like jump out of the way of trees?
Trees.
This is the view that we love walking through. It's so dang cool. We absolutely love it. And then we haven't really showed them the trees since this is such a long-winded, ridiculous video. Should we just show them that? Where the heck are you, timber?
Where did it go?
Timber.
By the rocks.
What if it went in the drain? Oh, that would be hilarious. No, it's right here.
Oh, okay. Oh.
It's just chilling, guys.
Oh, look, now it's in a direction you can
Perfect.
Drive it over to the beach.
You want me to drive it over to the beach? Or do you want me to drive up the creek? Because I was trying to go up a creek, guys. So, oh, you want to see the beach?
You really do need to wrap it up, though.
Oh, because we got to go. Okay. We gotta get this video uploaded, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, you see that garbage can over there? It's hidden by El Natural, okay? Nope. Mother Nature was like, no soup for you.
Okay, okay. Well, maybe we're not gonna do that.
See this? Oh, here's the other thing we can do. This is the silt pond right here. I am over the silt dam right now. So you can see where that goes out and it transitions into more and more rock. That rock, I'm at like 2 feet of depth right there.
Yep.
And there's 240,000 pounds of rock under it. That was a requirement. Well, I think it was sort of like a, they're gonna make us do it if we don't offer to do it kind of thing.
Right, so we
look at the cat walking on our rocks. So awesome. Cat, you keep proving my awesome plans, thank you. Go over there to the hangar and show how awesome it's gonna be and eat some more grass. That'll be super effective. So this is where all that water that runs in a big rain event can settle the silt out. And then over there, I can dive off of that dock, which we've shown that, have we? Not yet.
Maybe
we will.
not.
Well, I mean.
You've done it.
We've done it. I dived in after a helicopter. We'll have to share that someday. Maybe we'll do a members only for that.
Yeah, probably.
So if you guys are members on YouTube or Patreon, maybe maybe we should just do that clip. We'll do a clip, or we do a short.
Yeah, we don't usually do that very often, but.
There was less clothes involved.
There was.
Than we wanted. Well, there's no blurs.
No.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, basically. So anyway, this is what we're dealing with here, guys. This is the beautiful experience that we're in the middle of. And yes, you can see the water. It looks dead calm, but look at that thing moving. That's what wind does, folks. And if you're not used to picking up planes out of water, you'd probably think this should be no problem. It's a literal beach, Brian. Well, you know what they say about beached whales?
Yeah,
I look like one when I walk out in this stuff because that pea gravel displaces under my feet. Watch this. Watch this, guys. Oh, it's doing good. It must be more firm because it's kind of like pseudo frozen. So there it is, guys. The Horizon Hobby Turbo Timber. This is the Turbo Timber Evolution in the ultra micro size class with floats. Get them while they're hot, guys. This is an amazing plane. You're gonna have it. It's just gonna be like a regular one. You keep it for a long time. It's gonna do all the fun stuff you wanna do. I gotta say, I actually really like flying it a lot better with landing gear, but it is fun to fly. And I gotta say, if you want a good experience, go with the best. Get an E-flite product. You're gonna have the best experience possible. And if you wanna see our trees, I'm gonna just walk while I talk for just a minute. The character is so ticked off. So as you can see, these trees, starting at where that one, show,
Which
point.
one?
This was the first one that was part of the salvation move.
Yep.
Then all these little trees, these were decorations at Walmart.
Yep.
And we planted 57 of them.
52.
Huh?
52.
Pretty sure it was 57.
Was it?
Yeah, it was 57. And that's what's over there too.
Yeah.
And then, hun, come up here. I gotta show them one more thing. Because I love sharing this, and that'll be it, I promise. Right here, we found and moved trees from our alfalfa field. And look.
These trees are getting big.
That is how tall it is. When I moved these things, they were almost nothing.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be our backdrop. What is wrong with this cat? You are so crazy. So this is gonna be our backdrop, and it's gonna be part of our wind drop, our windbreak. And when you fly in, you'll either fly this way and land, or you'll fly that way and land, and dogleg and turn at the crest of the knolls. Knolls, for those of you that don't know what knolls are rolling hills, okay?
Yeah, this is all we get in Iowa.
Well, that's not necessarily true. There's bluffs and plains and all that stuff. No. You gotta tell the people truthfully because they're not around here. So, as you can see, things are coming along. It's been a lot of work. We like to share about it because it's very important to us. And we put so much of ourselves into this, it is very real, okay? So, when we talk about other influencers, we don't do it often on this channel, but when we do, we just wanna let you know, we're not just here for a quick buck. We are literally here, whether or not the quick buck ever happens. We are here to stay, so long as you keep coming back. And I'm gonna be in this hobby, whether or not you're here, okay? Because I just love this stuff. And aviation has been part of my life. There's a FedEx truck turning left, turning right. He's turning right, okay. Whether or not you guys see it, this is gonna be an amazing part of our lives, and we wanna share some with you. So part of the reason for the Thanksgiving special with the floats is because we know that you guys are probably sitting around being bored, and maybe you're between conversations or between cat naps. We're gonna help fill the gaps and voids in your RC experience here on BrianPhillipsRC. And we hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a little bit more long-winded than Megan would have liked, or most of you, but that's the way we do it. That's the way we roll. We don't just make shorts, but we do have content. We do have content. It's shorts. If you guys see a short and you're like, man, that was awesome. I wish I could see the whole thing where you talk like 4 hours about other stuff totally unrelated. You can see it right here on YouTube. So if you're watching a short on Facebook, there's a good chance it's the full thing is on YouTube. So check it out. It's BrianPhillipsRC on YouTube. Or you can head over to bprc.me. That's the short link for BrianPhillipsRC.com. You can sort by type, manufacturer, or affiliate that we worked with, and you can find exactly what you want to see, and you can do side-by-side comparisons of this very plane up against even a discontinued model if you want, but you can only buy the new ones from the links, okay? Also, special thanks to all of you that have supported us on Patreon, PayPal, one-time donations, YouTube super thanks, one-time donations, and YouTube members. The members are super helpful because it gives us ordinary income to work with, because believe me, there is extraordinary expense coming soon, And we're gonna be sharing a lot of the process with you in piecemeal type operation. We're gonna probably try to get a pond video done as soon as the pond is actually done. We're waiting on one permitting issue to be done, and then it's technically gonna be done. One. We got our permit like 3 weeks ago. This pond's been done for months. It's a long story. Welcome to Polk County. So anyway, at the end of the day, we love where we live. And we're gonna keep doing this because we really love this stuff. We're not just doing it for a quick buck. That's why we don't do these sensational thumbnails where we're like, oh, cheapest, best, fastest. That's not what we do here. That's a waste of your time. Just like Long Story Time with Brian Phillips. But if you choose to waste your time, we're glad to have you. Or if you're making toilet wine. So stay tuned, there's so much more right around the corner, but if you want to buy this plane, we'll have links for you and all of the ridiculous amounts of adapters and things that you might need if you're trying to use your old 2S, micro pH equipped 2S, 300 batteries in here, 300 milliamp hour batteries. We'll show you how to do it. So stay tuned. That'll be in the unbox build radio setup portion of this video following right now. More to come, stay tuned. All right, so you saw how the floats worked out. We're gonna go through a full unbox build radio setup for this. Full disclosure, this came in another package with other stuff. I think we might've actually got 2 floats at this time. I can't even remember what they were for. So depending on if you have the Turbo Timber, the original Turbo Timber UMX, which is red and white like this, or if you have the newer version, which we've done our unbox build radio setup in maiden flights. We did it in the snow. Now we're gonna be doing it before it snows on the water, which is gonna be super fun. But just so you know, this will also receive the floats exactly the same way. The only big catch is, and this is a pretty big catch, I want power when I fly on water. 2S will fly this thing just fine. That's a micro pH 2S connector, okay? So I wanna talk about batteries for a minute before we get too deep. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you one of my favorite features of the Ultra Micro Extreme planes, and that is that they go back in a box, unless you have floats installed, okay? So keep that in mind when you're making your decisions. Okay, as you can see, this is how it stores. It's very nice, it's protected. You can store it vertically and take up almost no space other than however big the box is, okay? Airplanes, as you know, take up space.
Oh, that space you mean?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so real quick, all we have to do is take the foam to protect the foam from the foam out of the box. I feel like I'm stuck down by something. What am I stuck down by? That's off of there. Did I forget some of the foam to protect the foam from the foam? Or am I missing something?
Or is there a block around the wheels?
It's so weird because like, feel this, grab it. I feel like it's stuck on something.
Oh, it does feel like it's stuck on something.
That is so weird. I don't remember that happening, but I'm just hoping it's not like broke or something weird. What is it stuck on? You know what? You know what I think happened? You know what I think happened? The foam stuck to the foam. And that's why we always make fun of them protecting the foam from the foam.
Yeah.
But maybe we should stop making fun of them for that stuff because the foam obviously attacks the other foam. And so if you don't protect your foam from the foam, you could have a foam attack.
It's terrible.
Okay, so as you can see down here, we've got this receiver and then we've got these landing gear. Of course, these are rock hard now. I'm hoping that at some point on version 17 of the Timber, we're gonna have some soft, squishy pairs because I like them big and squishy. Oh, but we were talking about batteries. I got distracted, okay? So as you can see, almost the same exact setup and design, but this one works on up to 3S. And you can see right here, it's also got a JST connector as opposed to the micro pH 2S connector, okay? So that doesn't mean that this plane is inferior other than the fact that the ESC and power system is designed to run on 2S instead of 3S. Is that inferior? Yes, you could make that argument, but is it inferior in any other way? To be honest, not really. However, JST will pass more current and it will handle more current than a micro pH 1S connector because those wires and leads are subsequently much smaller and dependent on contact at a different pitch. So when they slide in, you're gonna get less contact area on a smaller pin, so you can do the math really quick. It's gonna pass less power through, okay? Power is life in airplanes, okay? So if you hear the Facebook data center, this is my lab mic, and yes, that's a pocket protector that I wear. I just want you guys to hear that obnoxious noise. When you hear that obnoxious noise, you're gonna know that your batteries are done. Because what happens is these chargers, when charging a dumb battery, and you're like, wait, I thought those were smart batteries. No, they're not. They're dumb packs. This is the 2S with the old micro pH connector. It's the newer style. So instead of the E-flite packs, which we never had good luck with, these Spectrum packs have been way better. You can also get an adapter if you want to use your old batteries with a micro pH connector that takes you to JST. So keep in mind, just because you have a JST to JST doesn't mean you're going to improve your odds with that dinky little pin. So just keep in mind, as a means to an end, they're great, but it's still not as perfect as just going up to, of course, a 3S with JST and Hextronics balance lead. Okay, why is this better? For a variety of reasons. Because you don't need this obnoxious doohickey. Now, why do you need this obnoxious doohickey? Because there is no balance lead and main discharge lead. And the way the smart battery chargers and regular balance chargers work, you have to actually insert this so that you can simulate what would be a balance lead and hook up the discharge lead. And you can see, just by tracing this, if you have to build this yourself, we're going in parallel from the negative wire to the outside pin here, or the inside pin here, depending on which way you're looking at it. And then the data line comes over here to the center pin, okay? And then the positive line is in parallel on the other side, back to here, okay? So just take a look at that, study that. In fact, we're gonna put it on the back of this box where you can get a better view of it. So if you guys are trying to build one of these yourself, you can just copy. Now give them the light so that they can see on the connector, going close, okay?
Focus.
I'm trying to get the focus here. That black just does not show these. How is that so hard to film? You guys see, that's what I'm trying to catch. Is the little adapter.
You're talking about the little pins.
Yes, the pins. Yeah, you can't even see it on camera. It's terrible. Okay, so anyway, getting back to the point, the only reason we show you that is because it's such an oddity. If you don't have it, you're not gonna know how to do it. I have built those myself. And then previously, what we used to use was this apparatus here, which yes, I got to like hot glue on it and everything, which is ridiculous. And this was a parallel charger that I had used and built to actually be able to parallel charge these batteries as they were consumed. And when they were all consumed, I could charge all of them together, whether it be 3, 4, 5, or 6 at a time. And yes, I used to use a balance board that was this thing to actually split everything off, okay? Now, in more recent vintage, we have gotten away from doing that type of thing just because we don't actually need to. And just to also refresh your memory, sometimes you need to go out to a JST or from this cable to this cable, okay? So as you can see on channel 1, this one's done. It's just balancing, okay? So I'm gonna unplug the discharge lead. You're gonna have to switch sides. And then this is gonna get unplugged, and this is the 2S. There, now you can see it. This is a 2S variety. It's a 50C pack. So this would be the current 2S offering that's gonna work directly with the new plane. Now, why are we talking so much about batteries? Because this is a point of contention. People get confused by this. And so for our unbox build radio setup, which is really predominantly to show how to put the floats on, which is very easy, we wanted to talk about this because it comes up every single time people are talking about the turbo timber. And I know the answer, but it's hard to articulate this. So we're gonna link to all these cables so that you can easily find them. Just keep in mind, look at the links. It's really hard to communicate what these are if you don't know what you're talking about. This is an IC3 to a Hextronics 2S balance lead to a micro pH 2S balance lead. It will not be discussed that way. It's gonna be called like a charging cable. This is a JST battery end, and this is a, I believe they call this a Hextronics, or excuse me, this would be a micro pH 2S device lead.
I think so.
I think that's the way they call it. It's very confused and dumb nomenclature.
I have a question on this charging cable. Okay.
So this is necessary to charge on the smart chargers, regardless of which style you're going with. You're gonna need either this or you're gonna need this, okay?
Yes.
Okay, plus that. But you can't just use this and then hook it up to that. That will not do anything.
Right.
Okay, and just so I can demonstrate this, because this happens, a lot of people get this confused. They think, oh, well, this is how I charge it. No, wrong. It's gonna think you have an 8-volt single cell battery, okay? Because it doesn't calculate the balance lead, okay? Because there is no balance lead there. It just thinks it's an 8-volt cell, okay? That's why you need to have this adapter if you're going to use a micro PH2S connector. So as this plugs in, then that breaks off and allows you to plug in both, okay? So then of course you take off this adapter, you plug that into your balance or your main discharge lead, and then you plug this one into your balance lead all the way over to the left. And then look at that, it populates the data so it now knows it's 2 cells and they're at whatever the heck this is, okay? Go up, there you go, okay? So then you can press this, you can verify your current is set to 0.3 amps or whatever you decide to put it at. So let's say you wanted to go a little bit faster, you go to 0.4, then you would press down and press start, and guess what? Now it's gonna start this charge sequence, and it's gonna be done because this one was technically already done. Then all you have to do is just unplug this carefully, and you can lay this aside so it's ready to rock and roll. The reason we talk about this, and this is just to reiterate, is that a lot of people get confused about what this adapter is, why we need it, and the only reason you need it is if you use the old style or the newer style with micro PH2S connectors instead of, or in lieu of, the newer, more current variety of JST. These packs, because they're not smart, also have a balance lead. Now in the future, we'll eventually be into a circumstance where we can do smart batteries that have small smart chips. But just to give you an idea, this one's for the Draco, and it's 450 milliamp 4S, but as you can see, it's still got a balanced lead because get this, it's not a smart battery, even though it is getting close to smart battery status. This one is a smart battery, and you can tell because it's got this bulge here. That's the smart chip. And we don't talk about this very often because it's kind of a weirdity and we don't want to confuse the heck out of anybody. But this is from a kilt battery that I kilt. That's a smart circuit from what would be a 3S pack, okay? So this 3S pack, was this one done, hun?
Yes.
Okay, this one's done. So this is from a 3S pack, and I just, you know, devoured the battery and left the lead so I could show you what that smart chip looks like. So you can see all this SMD chips, the surface mount chips. Look at all those little things. Isn't that nuts? All that crap is the battery management circuit for this smart circuit here. You guys see that? There's a little microprocessor, and all the data transmission and everything is all managed inside of here, okay? And then it's covered up and it's ready to rock and roll. So if you ever touch the end of what will be an actual smart battery and it's hot or warm, hot would be a problem, warm would be normal. That means it's in the process of auto discharging because you have to consume that power in a certain way, and that's gonna generally be converting it to heat, okay? Now, the other thing is while they're charging, if they're smart batteries, you know how it asks, insert the balance lead? If it's a Gen 1, it knows that. If it's a Gen 2, you don't insert the balance lead, it just starts, okay? That's because the battery management circuit takes care of that. Remember, none of this stuff has it.
Right.
That's why you need this little adapter, and you only need one to get it done. That salvages all your older batteries, or you can get new batteries if you so desire. These leads are cheap. They're not very much. It's like maybe 10, 12 bucks. And yes, you can build them.
And that was my question. Is this, if this data lead only goes from the middle of this one to the middle of this one, what purpose is it serving?
It doesn't.
Okay, that was my question.
It doesn't.
I just was wondering if it served a purpose.
Well, except, no, it does on this application because all you're doing is you're telling. Okay, so let's talk about this. This is not a data lead. If I said data lead, I said it wrong because this just happens to be gray because they kept their color schematic. This is actually just cell 1 is here and cell 2 is here.
Okay.
Okay, so don't confuse the issue, camera crew. This is a data lead on a smart cell, okay, on a smart pack. That data lead is a data lead. okay? It happens to be gray. On this is a smart battery and it's Gen 1. This is a smart lead, that's a data lead, okay? This is a 3S Hextronics balance lead. Each of these are one cell, and one cell.
Right.
These are parallel to this big one and this big one. So you would get 0 ohms of resistance if you were to put your multimeter on that last copper part and stick it into this prong. If you were to stick your multimeter against here into there, you would see 0 ohms of resistance. It is a dead short, okay?
Okay.
I knew that was a lingering question for you. I want you to be able to sleep at night.
So that line is important. It is not a data lead.
It is not a data lead, and if I said that earlier, I misspoke. But yes, basically what that does is that helps. This is the outside lead.
Right.
It goes to it is then treated as the discharge lead, even though there's not really a discharge lead. As you know, these would be in parallel if they would have also installed a JST or an IC3, either way. So in this one, you're getting the same thing, but instead of this micro pH connector, which has crappy, high pitch, really small pins, you get a Hextronics balance lead. This and this are parallel, and then this and this are parallel. Digital multimeter into there, digital multimeter against that copper, and you would see 0 ohms of resistance. Digital multimeter on that pin compared to digital multimeter on this copper for the orange one, you would see 0 ohms. Just like on that 3S pack we were just holding, okay? So this is not story time with Brian Phillips. This is how you understand how things work if you're not an electrician. Forgive me for going into great detail. I'm gonna unplug the data center here because it's driving me nuts, and I'm gonna shut it off. I hate listening to the cooling fans.
Yeah.
This is already charged. So getting back to the point, we've got 3S to work with, we've got 2S to work with, and then we have 2S legacy to work with, which would require this adapter if we were going to be using it on the new plane, or this would go directly in the old plane, and then to use these in the old plane, you have to have another type of adapter, and that would take you from JST back to micro pH, which I am not 100% sure that we even use that adapter.
Sure we have one.
I don't think we have one, but if you wanted to make one, you would just wait till you have a dead battery, and you would separate these one at a time, clip, slightly longer clip, until such a time as you can safely, dispose of this. You would take this lead off, and then basically what would happen is you would take these two and you would make a JST female connector. Well, technically it's a male connector, and that would slide onto the end of this, and that would be how you discharge into and then this is no longer needed, okay? Because on the plane, there's actually nothing on that point, okay? And I'll show you right now. Because that middle pin is not hooked to anything. See, there's only a red and a black. It only goes to the outside too. There's not even a physical pin in the middle socket or the middle position, okay?
Okay.
The middle socket of the Hextronics 2S micro pH connector.
It's all crystal clear.
Okay?
I have no questions.
If anybody has any questions, just look in the links of the video description below. Buy the adapter you need.
Yep.
Buy the adapter you need, or buy the batteries you need if you don't need to use your legacy batteries. Or if you're trying to buy legacy batteries for this plane because that's the one you're putting the floats on, there you go. That's a lot of words for one explanation, but you're not gonna get an explanation from anybody else on YouTube because they're all gonna just gloss over it like you know everything. And that's what we do on BrianPhillipsRC. We show everything so you don't have to know it, because a lot of you probably already know that. All right, so starting this, but those that don't really need help. Float set, okay, let's pop it open. Okay, what does it come with? Oh, first of all, it comes with the frame, cool. Frame, beautiful, okay. Then it comes with instructions. It shows you how to do this. So it just talks about the different optional sets on the different optional planes, okay? Different language. That looks like ours. Okay. And it looks like this is designed for the carbon cub. UMX, because that was a plane that we actually did have, by the way. Okay, so here's how it goes. The assembly and the installation. It's quite easy to install these. It's quite easily assembled, but I just want you to remember something. These are very, very light, which means they are also very light duty, okay? These things, just so you know, stay there. Okay. Just so you know, these things are incredibly light. If you don't include the frame, I just want you guys to see what I'm talking about. These things probably weigh, I'm guessing, 3 grams, if that. Okay, any guesses? Hold it. How many grams?
4. I'm gonna say 4.
3. 6. See, put it on. That's why we have a scale. So you're talking about 13 grams, and then you have to add this stuff, okay? So just so you know, 13 grams, even in ultra micro scale, is a very small amount of weight. I bet you add more weight on that yellow plane compared to the white one on the right.
Really? In paint?
In paint, I bet. Okay, so watch this. So now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna, so you don't have to worry about going overload and being illegal, so you have to go to the drone registry route, okay? So including the bags, we're gonna be all in like 18 grams, okay? And you're probably thinking to yourself, good Lord, that's a lot of money for 18 grams of stuff. Yeah, I agree. But you gotta remember, you can also make your own if you think you can make it happen. I've tried, it's not easy, okay? All right, so let's build these. First of all, is there a left and a right? Yes, there is. This says R, this says L. How do you know there's a left and a right? Because there's an insert here and a vertical insert there, and there's not an insert on the outside, okay? So if you can't read this, look for the holes, okay? The holes will help you identify where everything goes.
Oh, that's where it says L, right there.
Okay?
Okay.
So now lay these down, right and left. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually get this plane out of the way. Full disclosure, we're not gonna fly on this plane because there's no sense in using the 2S operation if we can show it on 3S, because 3S is gonna give you more power. You can always reduce your throttle condition and you can simulate an almost virtually identical situation throttle-wise. But you can't go the other way around, right? Okay, so these are the 2 pieces that have to ultimately get installed, and then these go below, okay? So it's gonna show you in the drawing, this is gonna disappear on my counter, so I gotta be careful. So this one's gonna go like this. So it goes forward like this, okay? And then forward like that. And then what do we do? Do we have to put screws in first, or do we put the...
It shows slipping them in, front and back.
Okay.
And then the screws from the top is B.
Yeah, but do you do screws first, or do you do the wires first?
They show the
Okay,
wires
so these
first.
wires look like they're identical, the spreaders, okay? So I need to sit down now that I have this done. And we're looking at Phillips screws. So just a moment about Phillips screws. If and when Horizon Hobby has an opportunity to not use Phillips screws for this particular device, I will be a happy camper. I know my name is Phillips, and so you would think I'm getting royalties from these screws, and I wish I was.
Yeah.
So also, we're gonna use the NX10. It's on the models selected. There shouldn't be really anything too terribly difficult about setting this plane up. Between the old and the new, the only difference is the way you would bind, and so you can watch the respective unbox build radio setups. If you're curious, we do have both of them right now available to watch. If you're ever looking for a plane and you can't find it, go to BrianPhillipsRC.com or BPRC.me and then sort by type or by brand. You should be able to find exactly what you want pretty easy. All right, so like I said, these things are a little bit tricky to build because they're small and things fall apart like that. But I can tell you this, the easier way to do it is to just get a little bit done each time, each step, right? Mm-hmm. And you just slide these things together, and I don't know if you can see what you need to see because I can't see what you can see. And then once you get those in, what's it asking us to do? Just slide one screw down. Mm-hmm. So these screws must be the ones that go in because those look like they're the ones that go up on the plane, okay? And these are gonna be the adapters that go into the bottom of the aircraft, okay? Now I think they give you a little bit extra screws on this, a few extra screws rather, and in this case, 1 extra screw, okay? If you have a problem with one or you need a spare, I would highly recommend keeping these extra screws. It's one of the times where you really should keep them, and it's not just because you're a hoarder like me. 3 millimeters I don't know if this is the best size class. We're gonna find out in a second. It feels a little loose. So I'm gonna go to a 4mm. That's a 4mm Phillips. Ooh, see, that's why you would maybe need a spare. And by the way, if you're doing this at the flight field, just be extra careful, okay? That 4mm is fine. Okay, so once you get this thing started, okay, it's a lot easier once you get one set going, okay? So get one set started. My hands are in the way. I'm gonna go down to the 3mm and see if I get better purchase here. Yeah, that's awkward. Now remember, these are not super strong. You see them bending in my grip? That's what you wanna be kind of careful about, okay? And also these things like to roll really easy, so be careful you don't roll them off your table as you're building. Okay, so now that's slid in. And by the way, we do these builds not because we want to insult anybody's intelligence. We just know that some people need help, and most of you probably won't, to do this sort of thing. But if you need help, that's why you're at BrianPhillipsRC, and that's why if you need help, we're here for you. Okay, see, it's wanting to spin on me. So guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna switch to a really small flat and see if I can make purchase. I can't. It's gonna be too wide. So I'm gonna switch to a different brand of Phillips. Yep, it's not biting, so I'm gonna have to go up a step. That's why I said, as soon as they can go to a better, like a hex drive or something like that, I'm gonna be a happy camper. Okay, so that's actually going in and it's giving me purchase. Okay, so this 4mm is giving me good purchase now. I'd like to be able to rest this a little bit different too, because you see it's wanting to rotate on me. So one trick I've found is to lay this down, get those installed as much as you can, and then you can come over here to the edge where you can support the float so you're not up on that step, okay? Okay, and it's just really making me work at it to get this thing to go. Okay, so it feels like it's biting, but it's not. And I'm certain I'm not using the wrong screw because there's considerably more screws needed for the other side.
Yes.
Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna just, while we're standing here, I'm gonna actually take this screw out altogether because all the frame popped out on me. You're gonna have to go to the other side, please. So you see this? Look, I'm just backing it out and it's just really hard to get started. So I'm just gonna run this in. I'm gonna need that eventually, you know.
I know.
Okay. So once this is tight, then I can back it back out. Now I have threads cut in the plastic. Okay, so hopefully it's not as hard the second time around. And if that works, see, then I can support this with my hand because you don't want to break these things. They are a little bit tricky to work with. Okay, now I remember on one set of these, I remember there was something I did differently. And I'm thinking I might have heated these up with, like with a torch or with my stove. It's just been a long time since I've done it. Okay, so I'm gonna lay this, I'm gonna try this way. Oops. That's the left. I'm pretty sure we're supposed to put the bent one first, aren't we?
That's what the directions make it look like.
Okay, it is kind of awkward. For being a detailed drawing, is not very detailed. Okay, so I think what's gonna be easier than what I'm trying to do here is instead of trying to do everything at once, I wonder if I can hold it in my hand and just get the first set started. Okay. This is one of these things where when you do this once or twice, you'll be like, I'm not sure that it was as hard as you made it look, Brian. But I'm just gonna tell you this right now, we don't make it look hard on purpose. We want it to look easy because why do we want it to be hard for anybody, including us? Okay, so now that I've got that in there, I've got my thumbnail kind of pressed into that crack to hold it. Now I'm getting purchase, finally, okay? So it's hanging on. Remember, this will also be held by the plane too. So then I can just slip these back into the opening, bring that in, and then I'm gonna just hold this whatever angle is easy to get pressure down without damaging the foam. See how hard I'm having to press to like keep purchase in the tip of that Phillips screwdriver. That's why it'd be better if it was a hex drive. Because then all you would need to do is stick that tip in and turn it, because then it bites and holds and you don't have problems like this. Okay, so getting back to the point, again, this is the unbox build radio setup. So that goes, that's the front of the aircraft. So it's gonna go like this, I believe, or wait, does it go this way? Yeah, that's right. It went in the front, didn't it? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that goes in. Yep, you can tell because it steps back in there, okay? And then this slides in next to it. And I bet we're gonna have the same problem we had on the other one. Come on now, get in there. I can't help but feel like, is there a difference between the front and the back? And if there is, I don't know what it is. I'm gonna look at this real quick again. Nope, those are the same.
Those look the same.
Yeah, they're the same. Yep, and you put the vertical in first, and then you slide in the straight second. So folks, if you're brand new to BrianPhillipsRC, you wanna help support us financially, the best thing you can do is just buy awesome airplanes, quads, VTOLs, and different aircraft that you see us review on this channel. That helps us to support the relationships, that help us to bring you all this high quality content on BrianPhillipsRC. So obviously watching the videos is helpful, smashing the like button helps so that YouTube recommends this video to more people because you enjoyed it. But really what they do is they watch whether or not you watched it. I'm using my finger, my thumbnail, to support this as I torque it. See how it's wanting to rip right off of there? Okay, so now that's torqued down. Every time I torque it, it's wanting to rip off. So you wanna be super careful. And now that it's starting to get some, solidity, this one was easier to start with because this has the bigger bend in it, okay? Other ways you can support us is by watching the entire video. Occasionally that's helpful. I know our videos are long, so maybe you watch them and like go to work for 3 weeks. That's a joke. Okay, so now, because it's torquing, it's wanting to undo this, but it's harder to get my thumb in here, so I'm gonna have to go like this, okay? I just don't want it to rip off, so I have to put a little bit of pressure here, except that it wants to push out, so there's not a whole lot I can do. You know what, there is something I can do, and I'm gonna show you what you can do. You can stay right there, camera crew.
Okay.
You can take a pair of pliers, and you can apply some leverage to that part, and I'm gonna use a crescent wrench, or rather a sizable wrench. And this is gonna allow me to hang on to this so it doesn't wanna rip out on me, okay? So you see what I'm doing here? Just gonna hang on to that. That'll actually keep those parts in there too, which is kind of handy. Now I can very easily apply the necessary torque without feeling like that's gonna rip out of the foam until it's tight. And that is all the way in now. Now I can release, and then I can come back over to here. I'll hang on to it, and I'll just use the switch hitting with my left hand here. So now it's torqued down. Okay, so there you have it. So that's the assembly, pretty easy stuff. And so the next move we have to make is obviously putting it on the plane. So in order to put it on the plane, we have to get the main stock landing gear off. So in order to get the stock landing gear off, there is a trick I wanted to show you. Sometimes when you're doing these ultra micro planes, it can be a little bit tricky to hold the plane, and plane stands are usually too big. So a lot of times, if you flip the plane, sometimes you can put it into this and act as a holster, and it looks like that'll work this time too. Sweet. Doesn't always work that way. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But just keep in mind, that's pretty much the way it stores, okay? So now that that's stored for us, I can start undoing the screws. There's 4 of them. And just remember, you don't want to break your plane putting on floats. That would be pretty annoying, right? Excuse me. And so once these screws come out, then I'm going to make a pile. The camera crew is going to get the extra bag here in a second when she can do it. Hon, I'm just undoing these 2 screws. Grab the bag from behind me there. Show the people where I put it. See the bag? It's in the box. Yes. Remember, these landing gear are going to have a home to live in. Mm-hmm. And so you have to then make a decision where you want to put them. In my case, I'm going to put these into, and look at that plastic thing broke. See? Mm-hmm. Not while I was doing this, probably when I was flying it. So I'm gonna put these screws back into a little bag.
This one has that extra spare screw in it.
No problemo.
Okay.
Can you open that, please? Mm-hmm. Well, actually, just I'll do it, I guess. Because you've got your hands full of camera, I guess. So these are the things I love doing. All the tedious little steps of RC. That was a joke, folks. I actually hate all these steps, but we know that you guys probably hate some of these steps too. And if you don't, that's fine. We can still be friends. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put all this stuff back into this bag, and I'm gonna put the landing gear in that kit. And then guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take this kit and I'm gonna open this box and I'm gonna put it right here, and because guess what? You can no longer store the plane in here. So now here in a minute, I'll put my foam part back in here, and I'm not gonna have to search for that ever because I'm gonna know exactly where it is, okay? Then this just slides down into the frame, just like that. Now I just wanna talk about the alignment on these holes. These holes are not lining up, and you wanna know why? Because these are designed for the carbon cub. But you know what? Check this out. Your wonderful show host made some mistakes. You know what the show host forgot?
What?
This is included with these floats. You wanna know why?
Because that one doesn't fit in there.
Exactamundo. So your show host made a mistake, and he's gonna unmake the mistake real quick right now, okay? So this back piece that I bent is designed for the carbon cub and evidently not going to fit on this plane, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna undo this screw. I'm gonna take out this brace, okay? And you'll notice that the braces are now different colors from each other, which is pretty annoying if you ask me. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this out. There it goes. I'm gonna pull this out. There it goes. I'm gonna pull this out. Yep, that thing, watch this. Go up in here to the flat so you don't have all the texture. And I'm just gonna flatten that back to mostly centered so that if I ever do put this on the carbon cub, it will fit, okay? So this needs to go back in the kit. I'll put that there on that table. And then check this out. This came with the airplane and not necessarily with this particular kit, okay? So now you're gonna have white covers that are actually easier to handle and screws. So we're gonna pause, put this away, and come right back. Okay, so we're back on this totally not frustrating event, and I just wanna show you this. This is the frame. So I'm assuming it's gonna fit in here, let's see. Yep, look at that, it does fit, but it's a different color, and that too is really frustrating. So I'm gonna slide that in, but I have to do that second. So I'm gonna slide this one in first, just like that, and just like that. So remember when I say keep everything, and then you need some random bracket. Now I'm not saying you couldn't make it work, but you don't wanna make it work like what I was doing. That was tediously annoying and obnoxious, okay? So now if you bought this plane used from somebody or whatever and you don't have access to that bracketry, you can follow the link in the video description below and you can purchase one exactly correct for the size. Now that that's started, I'm gonna come in here with my screwdriver and just torque this down to the point where it's purchased the steel. Okay, so it's tight now. And then these two are gonna go in. I don't know if they can see where your angle is.
Yep.
Remember, you gotta get these things in all the way or it won't work properly because the alignment will be all goofed up, okay? And when I say the alignment, I mean the alignment of the actual floats will be incorrect. And so you'll get just really terrible taxing characteristics. All right, so now that we have that one off color frame member, look at how nice it drops in. Ah, fancy, so much easier. And yes, that did go down and dropped right into position without too much trouble at all. So my apologies guys for giving you bad guidance. Maybe if we were smart, we would clip that out. Are we gonna clip that out?
We might. Just
Okay, so if we clip it out.
Frustrated with us.
Yeah, yeah. So this says R, it's incredibly small. R, R, R.
Are you kidding me? Oh, there's the R.
Okay, so now that the camera crew has decided to show you, I am going to install the R thing. This is going to be spaced out, hopefully exactly correct. I'm putting it at the end of my forceps so I can then slide it into position relatively easy. And yes, those screws do line up nicely. This one says L, just take my word for it. I don't want to wait for her to zoom. But yes, it is going to go in, no problemo. Remember, you got to get it right on the end of your forceps or it won't work. Right on the end of your forceps, okay? So I'm going to slide this in. Boy, there are some times that just, it's like you read my mind. And then other times, it's like we're married for 20 years plus. Okay, 3 millimeters. Okay, so I went to the 3 millimeter and we have very good purchase. This is actually a lot nicer screw. So thank God. Look how much easier that is.
Yeah.
Now, here's the trick of the day, guys. If you don't have all the screws, you've broken your clips or whatever, one screw will probably work just fine. And I bring that to your attention because I know that it's not the first or last time somebody is going to have that conflict. But I do want to let you know your best bet is to have them. And yes, that is slipping. And probably no, I don't care because I'm not going to overdrive these, because guess what happens when you overdrive this particular thing? You end up slipping and making a mistake like that boo-boo. See? Because what do you press against? You have to squish the whole dang plane to get enough purchase on there to even drive the screw. So I'm going to put my hand underneath. I'm going to cup it gently. And then I'm going to press really, 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 really hard against this 100-something odd gram foam thing. I'm going to put like 3 pounds of pressure on it so I can make purchase into a Phillips screw instead of, say, a hex drive where I could just turn and it would just bite and get its own purchase. Okay. Now, why are these not blue, you might ask? Well, that's because they're marked left and right, and somebody probably forgot that it was going to be on a blue part of the aircraft, okay? And you're like, but Brian, these were included with the aircraft. And then you would say, yeah, exactly. I agree with your assessment about the annoyance factor. But these are also octagonally shaped, except they're not octagonal. It's really a septagonally shaped. Because it's 5 sides, right? Is septagon? It's 5. No, that's 8.
No, octagon.
What's 5?
Is 8. 5 is pentagon. Pentagonal.
Yeah, pentagonal shaped. So they're pentagonal shaped. Nope, that one's octagonal. Or wait, that's septagonal because it's 7. This is 7 sides. That doesn't even seem right. I feel like this one is wrong because there's an edge out of it. That one's right.
That one has like 2 edges out of it.
That one's fine. It doesn't hurt anything to have 2 edges out of it. But then this one doesn't seem right. Whatever. I really don't care. It doesn't matter. But you know what I am going to do? I'm going to get a blue marker and color these because that is going to drive me nuts.
The original landing gear are white though. Oh, except they only attach at the front point, don't they?
Yes. Any other ideas?
No, that was my smart comment for the day.
Okay. Yeah, the white looks good with the white. It's fine. I'm just surprised that this blue doesn't match the blue. It's not like that was a replacement part or anything, was it?
I mean, the floats are optional.
This was a PD sample. Maybe your stuff is going to be blue, folks, because ours was a product development sample. So basically, that means that like when they were testing these for quality assurance, they sent them to us. Because we did an early release on this, right?
Mm-hmm, we did.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, so that's torqued down. Now these ones you want to get all the way down so that it presses that float into position fully. Gosh, that is just so gut-wrenching to press so hard on the foam. I don't like that. Okay, we have survived another modification, but just barely.
Barely.
Now, I gotta say, that was a lot harder than I felt like it should have had to be. But I'm gonna tell you this, they're on there. Now, the next move for us is to basically color that thing so that it looks amazing. And if you guys are brand new to BrianPhillipsRC and you're like, why are you making us watch you color things? Well, it's optional. You don't have to watch me color things, but I would suggest you watch me color things because this might be the best part of the video. I'm getting a blue marker.
Might be.
Guys, I know you've been waiting for this. Watch this. Boom, 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 boom. Foam from the foam, right? Now, blue. Wow, 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 wow. And you're probably thinking, why didn't you do that before you screwed them in? Yeah, I know, I'm thinking that, just like you.
Because now you have to take them out and...
What's that now?
Are you gonna take them out and color them?
I am most definitely not gonna take them out, but I am gonna torque down that one screw because that one screw is definitely not all the way down.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's the back one on this spot, but I have to be able to, you see what I'm doing? Go back to where you were, please. See what I'm doing? I have to support the fuse, but there's leading edge slats, flaps, and the wing joiner. And I'm trying to support, nope, just stay where you are. I'm gonna move it. Okay, see this? That is not all the way in. Good Lordy Lord. Just trying to turn this so that it goes. Yes, I got it, okay. Terrible. So now there is another way to do this, and it's called, like the camera crew and I were talking about, you can take those screws out and you'll be able to color these a lot easier. But then the other thing I want to do is I want to take and leave this, I want to leave that so that it sticks up just a little bit. I'm going to show you a trick of the day, guys. That's why you come to BrianPhillipsRC, is for one-line quips and tricks of the day, okay? Now, I'm going to teach you something you probably didn't know, okay? Look. What do we have there, camera crew?
A Sharpie and a Q-tip.
What else do you think I'm going to get? This is kicker.
Okay.
Okay, watch. Okay, watch this. Watch this. One drip of kicker. Okay, well, I didn't get enough of one drip. How about I just do this? Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, so I got a lot of kicker on there. That's too much, okay? I'm gonna squish it out just like this so that I have just residual, okay? Now watch what happens. I'm gonna spread this, okay? Where the foam needed to be protected from the foam, and I didn't. I failed miserably. Look what I'm doing. See how the blue is coming off? My objective in doing this is to spread the paint and or spread the ink. You see that? Look at that, guys. See that? Now, one of two things is gonna happen. It's either gonna spread that ink and it's gonna just do a really fantastic job of coloring in and around all the little loose ends that I couldn't quite get, or it's gonna totally foobar the whole area, and then you guys can all point and laugh as it goes by in slow motion. Okay? So now that it's wet, you can stick it in. Is that usually how we do that?
Yeah, usually.
So, you see this? Now that that blue tip is going to run. Now, if this doesn't work, I have one more choice, and that is to go a little bit more heavy on the kicker this time. So that was test 1, now test 2 is gonna be heavier on kicker with more ink having been applied. And then what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to stain everything, and this kicker will sometimes take that blue paint or whatever paint it is, and it will spread it. And if this doesn't work, you can use alcohol. Alcohol definitely works, but look at that spot where the foam was protected from the foam. It spread the blue. Now I'm just gonna spread it to the edge. I'm not gonna go onto the white because it will spread onto the white, okay? But my objective is to basically match the color nicely, and so I'm just gonna taper it out and fan out the color until about the light or so, okay? I'm just gonna go on the bottom portion. It's gonna look, oh, you see how it's starting to kind of break down that blue?
Yep.
Okay, so that's the limit. So there's a limit to how much you can do this. Now watch this. I'm gonna dry it, okay? And all I'm trying to do is stain that stuff so that it's blue, so it's kind of got a similar hue. And it's just gonna kind of take that color and it's gonna wick into the white. But yeah, the easier thing to do would be to just do it before you actually screwed in. But I think that's good enough. The kicker didn't work as good as I wanted. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back with alcohol. We'll be right back. All right, so we're gonna go to the backup plan. By the way, that kicker thing works with the right types of paints. It's gonna work better. Did I get it on there? It's kind of hard to tell. See, I'm just kind of putting it, so just a little teeny bit. This you don't want to overdo, okay? So I'm gonna actually take and I'll put a little bit on the tip of my finger and I'm gonna take the dry side. Now watch this. this will spread that stuff, you see? And I just, the kicker's usually a little bit less aggressive than the alcohol, but look, that's working exactly the way I wanted it to, okay? So once you get that spread around to your liking so you can match the color, that's satisfactory to me now. If you use too much, you'll wipe it all off and it'll go to white, okay? So we're done, so just a little alcohol and a little Q-tip and a little blue marker from BrianPhillipsRC. That's why you're here, because we're gonna give you the solutions that you didn't even know you had problems for. And the next step is for us to go fly, but you already watched us fly. And so we're hoping that you enjoyed this content and you'll smash that like button so that you can help tell YouTube to recommend our video footage in the future. Now, if you need help setting up your NX10 or NX8 or NX, whatever it is you're using these days, look no further than the playlist for this particular plane. Now, the way you can find playlists, because we have so many of them, if you don't know how to find them, you can look on BrianPhillipsRC.com. BrianPhillipsRC.com is our website. And if you can't remember how to spell Brian or Phillips or .com, you can go to bprc.me and we will help you with all the links you could possibly want to all the playlists you could possibly want, okay? So there you have it, guys. Beautiful, float-equipped, ultra micro extreme right here before your very eyes. And just remember, when you get the floats installed, you won't be able to put that plane away. And so what you can do is you can keep this box in your storage shelter or whatever it is, and then you will know exactly where to find your float box and your main landing gear that you already removed, okay? Now also, the other thing you might wanna do is you can make a water rudder if you'd like. And the way you can do this is, if you do it, which I'm not going to, is you can take and use side cutters to slide this off. That little thing will break off and you can CA it back on when you're ready to use it again. And then you can extend that and just like literally make anything, clear plastic, that comes up here and attaches. I can't remember, I don't think they actually gave us an attachment point, but you can do something as simple as like one of your, I'm gonna show you the exact material. You stay there, camera crew. So let's say you have an AR-620. You could take, this stuff is awesome, keep it always, forever. And then you take, and when you're done using it, you can cut this with scissors. This is just a perfect thickness. You can take 2 or 3 drips of CA and you can drop that down and make an invisible water rudder that will be effective and actually work. Now, why is that not included in the floats? That's a great question you might ask, because they didn't think about that thing. And ultra micros, they do get around okay on the ground. However, reverse thrust would be really, 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 really nice for any float plane. Why? Because when you get up against the edge of the banks and you're going the wrong direction, it can be a real pain in the neck. If it's dead calm, you may not be able to get it back, especially if it gets stuck in some reeds or some algae or whatever happens to be there. So hopefully we answered all your questions. Check it out. Links are in the video description below if you want to buy this, the floats, or one of any of these ridiculous adapters that may be necessary to charge your old Legacy 2S packs, which may look like this, or they may be blue in color and say E-flite and have a shorter lead about this long. Or what I would suggest you use would be 300 milliamp 3S packs, just like this, that have the JST ends. But if you don't want to go that route, you can go with 300 2S's with a JST end. Now, for your peace and prosperity reasons, I'm just going to tell you we have a total of 4 packs, and I can't wait to get down to the pond and fly them, and you've already seen it. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned. There is so much more from BrianPhillipsRC, and you'll probably see this on Thanksgiving, I'm guessing.
Or
on
before.
or about,
yes.
Right before or over the holiday weekend. Either way, we appreciate you guys being part of our RC lives, and you're helping to make this all happen. So thank you for doing that. We appreciate you. We're very thankful for you on BrianPhillipsRC. So stay tuned. Remember, our family of 6 is depending on your patronage. And so when that stops, you'll stop seeing us. So if you hated this video, smash the like button and buy all the things you see in the links.
Yes.
Or if you liked it, do the same thing. Questions, comments, leave them down below. We'll do the best we can to get back to you. By the way, chargers that we used for this, you can use an S155, it'll go up to 4S. This is what I would get if I was you, an S2200. You don't need the 400 watt. You can get a 1400, which is 400 watts, one channel. I would take the money that you'd be applying to the bigger, more wattage and just go for the S2200 if you're comparing. It's still more money, but the 400 is way more expensive than the 200 watt apparatus. And I love having two channels. I use them constantly. That is my go-to. There's a power toggle switch. If I had to give up all the chargers, that would be the one I would keep, okay? And we usually don't link to that, but we do have a link. It's called Smart Stuff, and we usually wouldn't link to things like alcohol, but we should probably add that to the supplies list because we do talk about alcohol quite a bit.
Yeah.
So mostly as a last resort, like today.
Yes.
All right, so if you want to support Brian Phillips RC, follow the links in the video description below. Just for the record, it's not always for planes. Sometimes it's for floats, sometimes it's for transmitters, sometimes it's for transmitter packs or battery packs that go into the planes, or maybe it's a supply that we're offering or suggesting. Whether it be a Ruco remote ID module or Ruco, AC adapter that gives you a USB-A, USB-C. There's all sorts of things. Leaf blowers we've done in the past. We've done hay balers. But at the end of the day, generally all of them help support us. And if you're buying something like this off Amazon and you're like, hey, it should be no big deal. Brian knows I love him. Just remember, that is basically how we fund our channel. So if you watch a video, you get some value from it and you're like, I'm just gonna buy it somewhere else. That's fine, just buy it from one of our links because we have links to Amazon too. But just understanding that Amazon keeps most of it. So I would definitely follow the links in the video description below. You'll go right to Horizon Hobby. You get your bonus dollars, things like that. You're able to use all your account credentials and things like that. The only difference is they know that we sent you there, okay? All right, thanks for watching, guys. There's so much more right around the corner, right there. And we're gonna be filming it anytime soon. And you'll be seeing it. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.